Well, it's that time of year again where I need to come up with some gift ideas for some friends and family. A lot of the family, I let Julie worry about that. But the little ones are the ones that I really enjoy doing gifts for and everything. So what I've done here recently in the past few years is I have taken them shopping, and believe it or not, it has been really fun for me to be able to take them shopping. They buy things that you would never even begin to think that they would even want. But this year, I want to switch it up a little bit. I want them, they're getting a little bit older now, all of them are, so I want to give them something that I've made and that they'll be able to keep around for a little bit longer than, the cheap junk that they buy when they go be able to go buy the stuff that they want to get. So this will be something that will be around for a while. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take and do what I do best and throw a bunch of stuff together that's not supposed to be mixed together and turn it into something cool. I already did one example of this. I made this little dog here out of some nuts and bolts and stuff. And as cute as he has still got a little bit of stuff that I could fix on him after sitting there looking at it that would make him just even a little bit more cute. So I've got a better plan together now that I've gotten one of these, and I'm going to go ahead and make some of these for the little ones in my life, like I said. So that's my plan. I've also got another piece that I'm going to be doing as well, completely different from this, but kind of same idea, taking industrial stuff that's not supposed to be gifts for toys and putting it together and making a gift for a kid. So stick around if you're looking for some inspiration or some ideas for some of your guys' stuff. Or also, I'm going to try something a little different here too. I'm going to also make a few extras of these and put it on our eBay page and see if anybody else out there wants some. So it might be a gift that if you don't have the time or if you don't have the ability to put one of these together, you can still get one and send it off to your friends and family or whatever for Christmas. So, and also in that, I'll probably include some Hardcore Fab stickers and stuff like that in there as well for you guys. So food for thought, something to think about. So overall, this is a pretty easy project, but the big disclaimer here would be that you're going to have a welder. I don't know how you can get around this without having a welder. You can maybe try some of those soldering sticks or whatnot. I don't think some hot glue or something like that's personally going to cut it, at least not for what I'm wanting to make, something that'll be around for a while that I could chuck through the window of that truck and bust it out of there and not hurt it. So with that said, we are going to need a welder. Now for our parts list, we're going to start off with 3 of these 3/4 inch nuts. So I'm going to go ahead and split this up into some groups of stuff that I can just kind of blast out of here real quick, make a little assembly line going on here and get this done quicker. There is our 5 pieces that are going to be our main body. After we do our main body, we're going to go ahead and knock out the head. So each one of them is also going to require one more of these 3/4 inch nuts for the head. So there's our 5 bodies and heads, and then we're going to need legs. So for legs, I've got, ooh, that's a different sized one there. That's too long. These are inch, let me double check this. Let me get the tape measure. Yeah, these are 1.5 3/8 bolts. So that's what we've got there. I've unfortunately only had grade 8, so that's what I'm using. I am trying to just use general stuff all around the shop that I've already got. I don't know what we would end up looking at here if we were actually looking at a total for a price to go buy it, because like I said, I'm just using stuff around the shop here, but I would guess probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $8-10, whatever, somewhere in that neighborhood for every one of these that you'd want to do for just materials alone. And since I had one that was too long, I gotta go grab another one that matches this. That makes my 5 sets of front legs, because they're a little bit longer because he's sitting at an angle. And then we need the ones on the side that are going to be the back legs. And for that, I've got these little short ones here. These are like in 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. So also 3/8. So gather all of them up. So each dog is going to get 2 of those as well. And to finish off his face, we need a 1/2 inch nut, and then for every 1/2 inch nut, we're also going to have another 3/8. that is only a 1/2 inch long. So they'll go inside there on each one of those, and we can weld those all together. On my other one, my original one, I just welded a washer on the end of there. I think having a little more sticking out there is actually going to look better. So that's one of the things that I'm doing that I think will make these look better than the original one. Next up, we need a tail. So for the tail, I found some of these number 10 screws. They're Phillips, then they're 2 inches, 1.5 inches long. So we'll put those on there, we'll bend those. So we need 5 of those. For the ears, on this one, I took and I cut it and then I just folded it apart. It would have made more sense to do lock washers at that point, but I didn't have lock washers, so I just cut it with a pair of dikes. But I think what I'm going to do is I end up bending one and making a floppy ear like that. I think it's going to look a little bit better. So this has also got a couple little sharp points up there that I didn't really necessarily like. Worried that that could actually cut somebody. So we're going to go with all of our washers here for the ears being bent. So 2 of them per dog, of course. And that leaves us with a pile of nuts here. These are all 5/16 nuts, and those are going to be my eyes. I think the eyes that I had here were just a little bit too big. So we're going to step it down to a 5/16 and go that route. So that's our parts list. Got everything kind of organized. I think we're ready to start welding. So I'm super happy about the way those turned out. Now it's time to move on to the next piece we're gonna make. So the next one is gonna be completely different. We're not using nuts or bolts really any at all. I had to go to Home Depot and buy a bunch of stuff to be able to make this one work. Get it all dug out of here and I'll show you what we're dealing with. The rest of that's for another project. Okay, so on this one, I'm gonna make another little animal thing, whatever you want to call it, I guess. It could be a dog or whatever. It's not gonna really look like a dog, but it is gonna look like some kind of little creature. So it's gonna be a nightlight, is what we're actually making, but I don't want some just plain old boring nightlight. So we're gonna make something that's really cool. So we're gonna start out with the body here. And the body is going to be just a regular old switch box, just a single one switch box that you would use if you were putting up conduit or whatever in a building. So we're going to take it, we're going to start out and make our pliers. We need to knock out some of these knockouts here in the side of this thing so we can get some legs stuck on here. This one's going to go pretty quick, so. And then we might as well knock out for the tail and for the neck. So now we've got something that looks like this. Holes for head, holes for tails, holes for legs. So speaking of legs, we'll take these here out. What are these elbows called? Official name is just a large radius compression elbow is what it's called. It's 1/2 inch EMT is what it is. Some of these switch boxes do have different holes in them that are 3/4 inch. So you do kind of have to watch for that just a little bit. I did buy all of this at the Home Depot, so there's that. I did look online, and believe it or not, Home Depot is actually cheaper than even Amazon and stuff, so that's where I went. So this is pretty simple to put together. Just a nut on the inside of the hole there, and it's mounted. We've, of course, got 4 of those to do since we're doing 4 legs. Get it kind of all put together, then we'll go back here and we'll actually get some tools and tighten up so we don't have to worry about the legs coming loose. So for our head, we're going to take this light socket here that I bought. This is just an add-on deal that you can buy separately from a light, and it will fit in this hole. And we'll put the nut on it and tighten it down, and we'll have a head. Now we got our head, we've got our body, we got our legs. We need to probably go ahead and do some wiring at this point. So for wiring to begin with, I've got a switch. I went ahead, spent a little bit more money on this deal, bought a switch that actually lights up. Since this is going in a little kid's bedroom for a night light, then at least you'll be able to see the switch to be able to turn the light on, and the switch itself could be a night light just in itself too. So wiring this stuff up is pretty simple and easy. Let me grab some strippers here and an extension cord or something that we can put on the other end of this thing to power it, and we'll put this thing together. Okay, so for the tail or for the cord to plug this thing in, I've just got a regular old power unit that's off of some old something or another, an old computer or something. I don't know what it's off of, but something I saved just for the cord. So we're going to use the cord here on this. So the first thing I gotta do is cut that end off. We'll get some wires stripped back and we'll wire this thing up really quick. You see me do there, we got this stripped back enough where you can see these wires. And now I need to strip the individual wires back a little bit. I don't have a stripper that'll do the cord, but I do have one that'll do these. You guys could use a knife or whatever you need to do to be able to do that. I'm going to cheat and use the tool that I've got that's nice and easy. In house wiring, what you'll see is very, very common. Black, white, green. Black is usually hot, white is the neutral, and green is the ground. So just keep that in mind while you're doing stuff. And that's pretty standard across the board on most stuff in a house. Now in a car, you're going to see black and that's going to be ground. But we're not dealing with cars today. So we've got our white and our black here. Same thing, so we know which ones to hook up to what. We can just keep that color coded, matching up and being good. There is, however, one screw down inside here that's for a ground, and I guess I'm gonna have to have a longer screwdriver to be able to get in there and get to that. Okay, so this one, like I said, has this little ground down here in the end of this. So we're gonna have to use some wire nuts to hook all this stuff up here, and we'll use our switch. So our next step before we can go too much farther is we need to actually get a clamp on here. So that'll clamp our wires in place once everything is all set. We're a little ways from being at the point where we're gonna put the clamp in there yet because of that one set screw is gonna kind of be in my way. I'm gonna have to go through that hole. But I do have to get it on here first. So got that on, got that out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and shove this through and go ahead and put that on and get it out of the way. Now we need 2 green wires. I got one here, I'm gonna cut in half and make into 2. I'm gonna strip the ends of it, just like we did all the rest. Now we need to take and put a hook on this that we can wrap around the ground screw. So just a little something like that. And I'm gonna hook it on here. Now think about this when you're putting it on. Think about the way that the screw is screwing in. So counterclockwise is out, clockwise is in. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So we're gonna hang that on the side to where when we're screwing it in, it's actually going to be pulling, and I did it backwards since I'm talking to you. It's gonna be pulling the wire in and under the screw. And okay, so now we've got our 3 wires there. The white one and the white one, we're just going to go ahead and hook up together right now. Just kind of thread them together, and then we'll take a nut and we'll just screw a nut on the end of them. I would like to have a little bit smaller nut for this, but this is what I've got. Okay, so our whites are hooked together. Now we're going to do the same thing with our green, but we're going to add into the mix of the green one more wire so we can go up to our switch. Probably an electrician telling me that I'm doing it wrong out there right now, and that's okay. In my opinion, as long as you can get them in there and they don't unscrew out of the nut, it's officially good. Give every one of them a little bit of tug when you get them on there. Make sure that you're stuck in that nut real good. And then once you're at that point, now we can go ahead and set in our switch. So we got a little green switch, or a little green screw down here. That'll be for our green ground wire. Again, it'll need a little bit of a hook on it. And we want to hook it to where it pulls in and around the screw. Then on the other side, we're going to be switching the positive side. So we've got power coming into here, and then we'll have power going out to the light. So we'll use our switch to break that, and that'll be what turns on and off our light. Pretty simple. One more time. Same thing as what we've been doing. Hook it, put it around the screw, set the screw. Now we can go ahead and hook up our little clamp here for our tail. That in, set our nut on there. Now we got some set screws back here. With these screws back here to tighten up our cord so it don't pull out of the box. Guess I need to go ahead and get a screwdriver and tap all these nuts tight real quick too. It don't take much to make these nuts tight. They don't really have anything to put like a socket or anything on, but they do have some little teeth sticking out there, and you can usually just take a hammer and a screwdriver and give the nut a few taps to tighten it up the rest of the way. That gets it tighter than what you can do by hand. Okay, with all this tight, we can get all of our wires shoved back down in here, and then we can go ahead and screw in our switch. This is where it'd be nice if I'd went and took the time to find a screw gun, but whatever. And that is super close in there on this switch, but we did get it in there and did clear, so I think we'll be okay. Then we need our light switch cover, and then we'll grab a bulb and plug it in and see what it looks like. So for bulbs on this thing, we could do a couple different things. I do have an Edison bulb here that if we put that in there, I'm curious to see what it looks like. This might kind of look like some kind of dragon or something at that point. Let me go ahead and grab a cord. Plug our cord in. The little LED in there is not super bright on that light, so that'd be one look, but that's not the look that I was planning on going for. Since this is for a little girl, I'm gonna go with this bulb here, I believe. This is a color changing LED. It's got RGB on it, I think. That one sits there and just changes colors. One last thing before we finish this thing up, I guess. There is a hole now here in the bottom of these elbows that you actually could stick something up in there and potentially somebody could get electrocuted. So I'm going to take these little nickels. I'll take a nickel and put in each one of them. If we do that, then that caps it off. You can't get anything in there. I really don't like this brown on here either. I'm going to dust a little bit of paint on that real quick too. Yeah, that definitely looks way better than the brown, so I like it. I'm gonna call that done. Like I said, there's a bunch of different options for bulbs and everything, but I think for my situation, the color changing bulb is gonna be probably the best option. And before we go, don't forget that I am going to take 3 of these dogs over here and put on our eBay store. If you guys are interested and there's somebody you think might like one of those, there will be a link in the description below this video. If you go there, you can find a link to our eBay store that's going to have those for sale. And I guess with that, that's about all I got for you. Since this is kind of the Christmas, not really a Christmas, but kind of a Christmas video, I will say Merry Christmas to everyone out there if I don't talk to you before then, but I should talk to you before then. So anyways, that's all I got for this one. I'll talk to you guys later.